Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts Out of Bounds video. Today for you guys, I'm bringing you one thick boy video showing you a bunch of different out of bounds areas for almost all of the data greeting maps. Of course, so far we have looked at Scala as well as Twilight Town, but in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Destiny Islands, Radiant Garden, Kingdom of Corona, the Dark Margin, the Land of Departure, and a couple more. This will likely be the very final out of bounds video for Kingdom Hearts 3. I decided to compile just a bunch of areas together into one video, as there really isn't too much point in making individual videos for all of the different worlds. So let's start off with Radiant Garden. The technique that we're going to be using throughout all of these different out of bounds is the 3-stack trick. This trick pretty much works on almost every single data grading location. This is the same trick that we used in the Twilight Town mansion area to get out of bounds there. So pretty much pay attention to the trick. I'm not going to be explaining it for every single area, as of course we're going to be using the same trick throughout. Now keep in mind too, the only time that this trick will work is when you're using it against an invisible wall that is an open space. For the most part, you can't use this to go through walls aside from that of the Land of Departure, which you guys will see later on. So for Radiant Garden, you'll want to come to this area right here, where the little barrel is. You can also do it on the right side of the courtyard as well. You want to start by placing down an invisible platform C, then follow up by spawning an invisible platform B right on top. Then you'll want to adjust it so that the invisible platform B hasn't completely fallen off the C platform, but is sort of phased into it. Then you'll want to finish out by spawning an invisible platform A on top of the B platform and slightly move it a little bit back so that there is a bit of space between the edge of the B platform and the A platform. Once you've done that, go back into the adjust mode, switch on down to the C platform, move the camera so that it is out of bounds, push the left analog stick forward, and Sora should be pushed through the invisible wall. So in the ways of the out of bounds areas for Radiant Garden, there are a couple of interesting things. First and foremostly, keep in mind that a lot of the actual town in itself has no collision detection, so you're gonna simply just fall through the ground. The surrounding houses that are closest to the actual playable space, as well as the path, does have collision detection, so you're able to jump on them and walk on them. Same can also be said with the sort of castle wall that is closest to the playable space as well. You can completely jump up the top, run around in this little sort of treed area, and this can be used for some really cool and unique data greeting photos. This is really the main idea for getting out of bounds, is to get some really cool unique photos in areas that you're not typically meant to be able to access. The unfortunate thing here is there isn't overly too much to see. You can get a really nice view of the Radiant Garden castle, completely flying around it to give you a sort of better idea of the architecture of the castle itself. Obviously this is the completely restored version of Radiant Garden, so like the one that we see in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. This is of course the very same area that is featured in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Unfortunately though, none of the sort of stairs that lead up to the castle or the platforms beforehand, or even the castle itself, has collision detection. So it's not like you're going to be able to run all over the castle, jump here, jump there, explore left, right and center, as everything for the most part beyond the playable boundaries is just simply used for a prop. The most interesting part about the out of bounds space for Radiant Garden is most certainly Merlin's house. We do know that the outside of Merlin's house actually does appear very briefly at the very beginning of the Limit Cut episode, and the set that is used in that cutscene actually exists within this little data greeting setting. And the cool thing about it is, because the outside of Merlin's house exists within a cutscene, this does of course mean that there is collision detection all around the house. This is probably the most unique location out of bounds in order to get some really cool photos. And what's even more interesting is, in the sense of exactly where Merlin's house is actually located, makes total sense towards the actual geometry of where it would actually be located in the city itself. Next up, let's talk about Destiny Islands. So I haven't even actually talked about Destiny Islands so far since obviously the Remind DLC came out, and one thing I was really crossing my fingers for was that Destiny Islands would be a sort of little setting thing for data grading so that we can actually run around the beach a little bit. Of course, I knew that obviously it wouldn't be a fully fleshed out world or anything, but to just simply be able to actually play in the space of Destiny Islands once again would be an absolute treat, as of course we haven't really properly been able to since Kingdom Hearts 1. And I gotta say, even without the whole Out of Bounds experience, it's just absolutely amazing. Even though the playable space for both settings for Destiny Islands in data grading is extremely small, it is so amazing to officially be able to actually play in this very small space on the island after so many years. However though, to get Out of Bounds here, you're going to want to use the 3-stack trick underneath the bridge. Once done that, Sora should be pushed through the invisible wall and you'll be on the other side. Now, the interesting thing about Destiny Island's Out of Bounds area is that there is actually quite a lot of it, due to the fact that there is collision detection for the sand that is underneath the water, and quite a lot of it. You can run quite far away from the island itself to the point where you're pretty much underwater, and it looks like you're in the middle of a desert somewhere. You can run and fly around the back of the island. Unfortunately, the back part of the island that we got to explore a little bit in Kingdom Hearts 1 does not exist, and we've got some really low textured versions of the sort of bushes that are up the top of the island as well. It just kind of looks like very sort of plastic looking green bulbs. Obviously we were never meant to see the back of the island officially, so there's really not too much going on here aside from a lot of low textured, low poly stuff. We'll also notice the tunnel to the little secret cave that is in the island as well. Interesting that this still is kind of here, even though the complete underground part of it doesn't exist, because I guess you can sort of see the entrance of the cave from the playable space. That's hence the reason why the tunnel actually does exist. Now you can't actually get inside this little tunnel from the Out of Bounds space, but if you re-perform the 3-stack trick up against the invisible wall right here, you can actually get pushed through it and fly into it. Sora will sort of be in a mid-air dropping pose while you're kind of going through it. And Sora is also in the same glitch state if you go onto the other sort of boardwalk areas of the island too, where Titus was flicking his stick around in the first game, and just the other parts of the island that have invisible walls there usually. It is also possible to fly up to the top of the little tree house here. Unfortunately, there is no hanging cloth. It's just simply an empty room. You're able to jump on top of the little piece of terrain that is right next to the shack, as well as go over the shack bridge that connects to the sort of Palpu tree fruit island thingy, which obviously does exist as a separate set for data grading, but I mean you can just access it here in the Out of Bounds. It is very interesting that Square Enix decided to make 2 separate locations for Destiny Islands, even though they're right next door to each other. It's very strange. You would have thought that Square would have sort of gone out of their way to make it a little bit more fleshed out so that you could actually run into the water. You could explore the other parts like the little shack bridge. You'll also be able to jump on top of the shack to go near the secret cave entrance, to jump on top of the sort of tree house area to make it one fully fleshed out setting. But that right there is the Out of Bounds space of Destiny Island. So from here on in, I'm going to let the rest of the footage roll for all of the other locations that I managed to get Out of Bounds in. Again, these are most of the locations throughout data greeting. There's no sense in really talking about all the stuff we come across whilst Out of Bounds. For the most part, the footage pretty much explains it all. I will show you exactly where I was able to access the Out of Bounds spaces for the rest of these areas, and all you have to do is remember the 3-stack trick, use it in the location I am in, and you can access the Out of Bounds areas for those worlds. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. I've been Cynical, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Yeah. Huh. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. 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 Huh. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Huh. Yeah. Huh.
Hit him on the page, you'll be coming through stunning. Gold in my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crate, gaming up your bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.